Good day, everyone. So, our presentation for today will be about product planning and roadmap design, and also iterative prototyping and user feedback integration. So, this will be presented by our group Days, presenting Dinas Aldave, Casey Escobia, Erish Faith Pigao, and Aliza Tabambanwa. So, before we start formally our presentation about the topic, we have here the learning objectives. First, understand the concept of product planning and roadmap design. Next is to identify phases in product development. Next is to explain iterative prototyping and its types. And lastly, recognize the importance of user feedback in development. So as we start our presentation, product planning will be discussed by Casey Escobia.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Today, we're going to walk through the foundational step of product planning, the process that sets the direction for everything we build. So, let's start. Product planning. So, product planning is the process of figuring out what to build, who it's for, and why it matters before you actually building it. So, it involves four stages. First, define the product idea. Next, identify target users. And next, list features and requirements. And lastly, goals of the product. So first, define the product idea. So defining the product idea means articulating the core problem we want to solve and how our product can solve that problem. So first things first, we ask ourselves, what pain point exists in the market? What solution are we offering, and why is now the right time to build it? So a well-defined product idea becomes our North Star. In other words, ito yung nagpapanatiling aligned and focus sa buong team all throughout the entire development process. Next, identify target users. Once we know what we're building, we need to know who we're building it for. So, napaka-importante ng part nito kasi identifying our target users goes beyond just demographics. We want to understand their behaviors, frustrations, and goals. Who are they? What does their day look like? And most importantly, how does our product fit into their lives? So the clearer our picture of the user, mas maganda yung desisyon na magagawa natin down the line. Kasi kilala natin yung users, and by that, alam natin kung paano natin sila or paano natin masosolve yung problema na kinakarap nila. And next, list features and requirements. Now that we know the idea and the audience, it's time to map out exactly what our product does. So this is where we define our features, the functionality that delivers value to users, and our requirements, which are the technical and business condition that product must meet. So at this stage, it's also important to distinguish between must-haves and nice-to-haves. Hindi lahat pwede nating isama sa first version. And also, minsan kapag di natin alam yung must-haves and nice-to-haves, di natin hindi natin alam na yung ginagawa pala natin currently is nice-to-haves lang instead na yung must-haves na mas importante. So that is why at this stage, it's very crucial na ma-identify natin agad kung ano ba yung must-haves and nice-to-haves. So, yeah, next is goal of the product. Goals give us a way to measure success. Are we aiming to acquire a certain number of users, hit a revenue target, improve a specific metric? So our goal should be specific, measurable, and direct tied back to the product idea we defined at the start. Kasi without clear goals, we're just building without a finish line. So that is why na alam natin kung ano ba yung goal natin para masabi natin na nagsa-success na tayo. Kasi nga, pag wala tayong goal, hindi natin alam kung na-hit na ba natin yung gusto nating ma-hit or yung nandit successful na ba tayo. That's why it's important to set goals for our product. And so to summarize, uh, great product don't happen by accident. They start with a clear idea, a deep understanding of users, a thoughtful feature set, and goals that keep us accountable. So that's it for my part. Then now let's proceed to the next presenter.
Next is product roadmap. So, ano nga ba yung product roadmap? It is a strategic plan that outlines the vision, direction, and progress of a product. It communicates the big picture kung ano nga ba yung dapat ma-achieve ng isang product and kung ano yung plano ng team para ma-achieve yun. Para din siyang bridge between strategy and execution. Kinoconnect na yung long-term goals sa actual na ginagawa ng team araw-araw. And ang maganda naman sa roadmap ay hindi siya fixed. It evolves based dun sa customer needs and market changes. Next is importance of product roadmap. A product roadmap keeps development organized and on track. Walang confusion about roles, responsibilities, and priorities. Alam ng lahat kung ano yung kailangan gawin and kailan kailangan matapos. It also provides clear milestones and progress tracking. Nakikita or alam ng team kung nasaang part na ba sila ng development. It shows what is currently being built and what comes next. Dito naman pumapasok yung transparency ng organization. And it connects product features directly to user needs and feedback. Minimake sure naman ito na what the team builds is valuable mismo sa target nila mismo. Next is kung paano naman ini-structure ang product roadmap. Meron itong 6 components. First is product vision. Ito yung foundation ng lahat. Dapat na malinaw yung sagot sa tanong na what problem are you solving and for whom? Second is yung goal. What's the key objective? Dapat din na malinaw at measurable yung target na gusto nyong ma-achieve. And pangatlo is features. Ito naman yung mga specific na deliverables na makikita ng mga users. Fourth, milestones. Ito naman yung key deliverables, MVP launch, user testing, beta release, regulatory approval. Nakaka-help naman yung milestone sa pag-measure ng progress. Fifth, dependencies. Ito yung mga technical o design requirements na nakadepende sa ibang team o projects. Kailangan natin malaman kung ano yung mga external factors na maaaring makaapekto sa timeline ng product. And lastly, yung resources, team members, tools, and capacity available. Walang effective na roadmap kung hindi naman aligned yung resources sa goals. Next is different kinds of roadmaps. Hindi lahat ng roadmaps ay compatible sa lahat. Nakadepende yun sa users at goals ng organization. First type is yung timeline-based roadmap. Dito, minamap natin yung mga features at milestones sa specific dates. Very useful siya sa investors, internal teams, at partners dahil sineset na yung clear expectation mismo. And yun nga lang, kapag nabago naman yung timeline ay hindi siya flexible and pwede siya mag-cause ng pressure at ng mga mabibigat na changes. Second type is feature-based roadmaps. This time naman, nililista na yung specific features and yung planned releases and ideal siya para sa engineers, designers, and sales teams dahil connected siya mismo or naka-align siya sa actual customer requests. And ang downside naman niya is pwedeng maging less strategic. And yung third type naman is team-based or yung goal-oriented roadmap. Ito naman yung pinaka-strategic sa kanilang tatlo. Instead of listing individual features or yung dates, ginugroup nito yung mga features or yung initiatives na under sa mas malaking goal. The focus is on outcomes rather than outputs. Kaso ang downside naman nito ay hindi siya nakaspecific sa exact feature or timeline, pero flexible naman siya. Next is what to prioritize on a product roadmap. Every team has more ideas than they have the time or resources to execute. So, paano nga ba natin madedecide kung ano yung dapat natin gawin? So, dapat aligned yung items sa OKRs or yung objective and key results. If yung feature is hindi naman niya sinusuportahan yung major product goal, mas okay kung wala muna siya sa priority list. And dapat gumamit din tayo ng prioritization frameworks. Here are the two common frameworks. First, RISE. RISE stands for Reach, Impact, and Confidence divided by Effort. Each feature, nakaka-receive siya ng score based dun sa apat na yon. The higher the score, the higher the priority. Pangalawa naman is Value versus Effort Matrix. Dito, pinaprioritize yung high value, low effort task. Ito yung mga quick wins na nagde-deliver ng malaking impact nang hindi masyado na-overwhelm yung team. So to wrap up, a great product roadmap is not just about the planning, it is about making smart, intentional decisions that deliver real value to your users and to your organizations.
So let's move on with the iterative prototyping. So this topic is commonly used in product development. So especially in designing application systems and digital products. So it is important because it helps developers create better and more effective products through continuous improvement. So let's delve in with its definition. So what is iterative prototyping? So it is a cyclical process that involves creating, testing, and refining a prototype multiple times. So each iteration improves the product based on insights gathered from users and data. So it is a fundamental approach in product development where a system or product is continuously improved through repeated cycles of design, testing, and refinement. So um, iterative prototyping is a process where a product is developed step by step. So instead of creating a final product immediately, developers first build a simple version or the prototype itself, then test it to users, then collect its feedback. So it will be improved repeatedly. So the word iterative means repeating a process. So in this method, the product goes through multiple cycles of improvement until it becomes more refined and effective. So, next, what is prototyping itself? Here we have different examples of prototype to see. We have the paper prototypes, clickable wireframes, HTML prototypes, mobile app mock-ups, sketch models, electronic prototypes, game prototypes, and payment links. So, prototype help visualize ideas, test assumptions, and identify issues before full development begins. So, to simplify the definition, prototype is an earlier basic version of a product. So, it can be form of sketches like these examples like clickable wireframe so that they can help the developers visualize the idea and test how the product will work. So the main purpose of prototyping is to identify problems easily and early, and also to test assumptions and make sure that the design will be functional before the full development. So next is the key components of iterative prototyping. So we have here three components such as prototyping, feedback, and iteration. So as I've discussed earlier, prototyping is the process of creating a basic version of a product such as sketches, wireframes, or mock-ups. So it helps visualize ideas and test assumptions early. So next is the feedback. It is collected from the users through surveys, interviews, user testing, and then analytics. So for the feedback, it is gathered from the users. So it helps the developers to understand the user's experience. So next is the iteration, wherein it involves improving the prototype based on its feedback. So this process is repeated until the product meets user expectations and achieves the success in the market. So this means that improving the prototype based on feedback collected. So these components work together in a cycle. So developers do prototyping and then gathers feedback and then improves the product and repeat the process until the product meets the user expectations. So Next, we will discuss the iterative prototyping process. First, the first step is to define the problem wherein you need to identify the issue and target users. Next is to build the prototype. Create a simple version of the product to test core features. Next is to test with users. So, upon testing with the users, you need to gather feedback through real user interaction. Next is to analyze feedback and data. So, you need to identify patterns, issues, and improvement areas. So, next is to refine the prototype. So, upon gaining feedback and data, you need to improve the design, features, or usability depending on the user feedback. And next, lastly, is the repeat the cycle. So continue until the product is optimized. So that's the process for the iterative prototyping process. Next is for the real world example. So, to better understand, here's an example. So, a food delivery app may start with a simple checkout feature. So, that's a prototype um, development. So, after testing, users might report that the payment process is confusing. So, that's the testing phase. And then the developers then redesign the interface, test it again, and then continue improving it until users find it easy and efficient. So, that's a real world example of iterative prototyping. So, next is the importance of iterative prototyping. So, we have here the importance. First is the user centered design. So, with the user centered design, it ensures that the product meets real user needs through continuous feedback. Next is the risk reduction. So, it identifies problems early, preventing cost mistakes later. So next is the faster development. So it allows teams to release and improve product quickly. And then next is the data-driven decisions. So enhancements are based on real user data and analytics. So in the importance, so first, it helps reduce risk because problems are identified earlier before the final product is completed. Then next is it also focuses on the user-centered design. So meaning that the product is developed based on what users actually need and prefer. Um, Also, one importance is the data-driven decision wherein since since improvements are based on real feedback instead of assumptions only, and also the faster development because improvements are made continuously rather than waiting until the end. So, for the summary or the conclusion, iterative prototyping is a powerful method in modern product development. So, by continuously testing and improving a product, developers can create solutions that better meet user needs. So, this approach not only improves product quality but also reduces risk and increases the chances of success in the market. So, to summarize it all, iterative prototyping is a method of developing products through repeated testing and improvement. So, by continuously gathering feedback and refining the design, developers can create products that are more effective, user friendly, and successful in the market. So, that's all with the iterative prototyping.
So, hello everyone. Today I will be discussing user feedback integration as part of product planning and roadmap design, focusing on iterative prototyping. This topic is important because it shows how products are improved based on real user experience, not just assumptions. Next is, what is user feedback integration? User feedback integration is the process of collecting user opinions and experiences to improve a product. So, how feedback is gathered? There are different ways to gather feedback. First is usability testing, where users try a prototype while we observe how they interact with it. This helps identify difficulties or confusion. Second is surveys, which allow us to gather feedback from many users quickly. And third, interviews, where we ask users more detailed questions to understand their thoughts and experiences. And lastly is beta testing, where a nearly finished product is released to a small group of users to test in real situations. All of these methods help us understand what users actually need and experience. For the next slide, we have feedback analysis. After collecting feedback, the next step is analyzing it. We look for common issues or repeated comments from users. For example, if many users say a feature is confusing, that becomes a priority. We also group similar responses together to make the data more organized and easier to understand. Then we prioritize the issues based on their impact. Problems that affect many users or make the product hard to use are solved first. This process helps teams focus on what really matters to users. And for the next slide, we have changes and iteration. Once feedback analyzed, we make improvements to the product. This can include fixing usability problems, improving the design, or adjusting features based on the user needs. This process follows what we call iteration, which means repeating a cycle of testing, gathering feedback, and improving the product. Instead of trying make a perfect product right away, developers improve it step by step. Each version becomes better based on the user input. And next, for the importance and conclusion, user feedback integration is very important because it ensures that the product meets real user needs. It also helps reduce the risk of failure since problems are identified early and improved continuously. In the end, this process leads to a better user experience and a more successful product. For example, apps like TikTok and Facebook regularly update their features based on the user feedback. That's why continuous improvement and listening to users is essential in a product development. And thank you for listening. That's all.